Hello, in this video we're going to have a look at open D tuning on the guitar. Open D is an alternate tuning and it's one of the most commonly used alternate tunings on the guitar. Although it can be used in any style of music, it's primarily used in blues music, and using this tuning offers a number of advantages over using standard tuning. We'll have a look at them later on in the video, but first off we're going to take this guitar and we're going to get it tuned to open D. Okay, we're going to tune this guitar now to open D. When a guitar's in open D tuning, it means that when all the strings are played open, that is that none of the strings are fretted, it forms a D major chord. The D major chord comprises the three notes of the D major triad. They are D, F sharp and A. So each of the 6 strings is going to be tuned to one of those 3 notes. Okay, we've got this guitar, it's currently in standard tuning, which is E, A, D, G, B and E. And we're going to take the standard tune guitar and tune it to open D. Okay, if we start on the 6th string, which is the lowest string here, this is currently in E. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that E down 2 half steps or 2 semitones down to a D. Okay, so that's the 6th string now at D. The 5th string is currently at A in standard tuning and it just gets left at A in open D tuning. The 4th string is at D in standard tuning and that also just gets left at D in an open D tuning. The 3rd string, which is a G in standard tuning, this gets dropped down 1 half step down to F sharp. Okay, so that's the 3rd string now, F sharp. The 2nd string is currently at B, and this gets tuned down 2 half steps to A. Okay, so that's the 2nd string at A. And the 1st string, the highest string, is currently at E, and that gets tuned down 2 half steps down to D. Okay, so that's the 1st string at D. So that's our guitar tuned to open D. So what we'll have working from the 6th string down to the 1st, we've got D, A, D, F sharp, A and D. And when played all together it forms a D major chord. Okay, that's our guitar tuned up to open D. Now we're briefly going to look at some of the things we can do in this tuning. The first reason you would want to tune your guitar open D is if you have a specific piece of music written for this tuning. It goes without saying that if you want to make an accurate reproduction of that tune, you're going to have to tune your guitar into this tuning. And there's plenty of tunes being written across all musical styles for this tuning, but primarily there's a lot of blues music in open D tuning, and if you look around you'll be able to get your hands on quite a lot of tunes in open D that'll let you get playing some stuff in this tuning. The next reason you would want to tune up or tune down to open D is for using one of these things, a slide. And because in open D when you play all the strings open, it forms a major chord. When you move that shape up the neck, you got other major chords. So you've heard D here, you would have G here, and on the 7th you would have A. And D, G and A are the three chords you're primarily going to be using when playing blues music in open D. Because the slide has no rigidity, because the slide is rigid and has no flexibility to it, it allows you to make these major chords all the way up the neck. So if we use the D, G and A again, we've got the D here, we can slide up to G, to D. So it really lends itself for using the slide because of the major chord formed across all strings. Another reason you might want to use it is if you're doing finger picking guitar, especially if you're using an alternating bass line, where you're playing, say, the 6th and 4th string as a bass line, like this. When playing in standard tuning, you'll have to use an alternating bass line, you'll have to fret the chord like this. So this would be a C chord in standard. By doing so, your left hand's locked into this position, meaning you only have access to a limited range of notes for playing the melody line. When playing in an open D tuning and playing in D, you can access the bass notes like this, but your left hand is freed up for playing the melody. So you can access the whole of the neck for playing a melody line. And that's another real advantage in this style of music, to using an open D tuning. Another reason you might want to do it, and it's maybe a less important reason, is when playing blues shuffles. Now there's a lot of blues shuffles out there, but if we take the most basic style of blues shuffle, just put this down, when playing in standard tuning, what you would be doing is you would be barring here and playing here, and as you moved up the neck, you would start to have to introduce this pinky stretch here. And now, although this isn't a problem once you get used to it, it's still quite an awkward hand position. When playing this shuffle in the open D, because the strings are brought into alignment, you don't have that stretch. So if we look at a very standard blues shuffle in open D, it would go like this. It's not a major thing, but it does make playing these sort of things easier. And you know, there's a lot of blues shuffles out there, and some of them will lend themselves to this open D tuning. And if you want to have a go at that blues shuffle, there's a tab on the website. The last reason for wanting to play in this, although there are many more, the last one I'm going to talk about is getting access to certain chords. When playing blues music, you're likely to use, you know, what's called the 3-chord trick, which are scale degrees 1, 4 and 5, which in this case is D, G and A. And all these chords and their 7th equivalents are easily accessible in this tuning. You have D here, you have G major here, and you have A major here. You also have G available here, and the 7th just by putting the pinky down, and also A 7th is available here, which is just dropping 2 of the fingers down. So you have your D, so you have very easy access to to the three main chords that you're likely to be using in this tuning. If you go onto the website, there's a diagram showing the fingerings for all these chords, but it certainly lends itself to this type of playing. Okay, that's a very brief look at some of the things that this tuning can be used for. If you go onto the website, it's got a chord diagram showing all the most commonly used chords in open D tuning. And it also has a tab for the blues shuffle, which I showed you earlier in this video. There are plenty more uses that this tuning can be put in. There's a lot of songs we can look at in this tuning, so we'll have a look at them in later videos. But for now, why not tune your guitar open D and have a play around and see what you think.